So normally I wouldn't make a second video about the whole Halo co-op thing, but it's really driving me nuts. And I wanted to clarify a few of the points and talk about it a little more in part two. Before I do, I'm trying to get to 100,000 subscribers this year, so please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell if you like these videos. So basically, as you know, the team at 343, Joseph Staten specifically, came out and said that 343 will not be releasing co-op, period, for the campaign in the holiday season when Halo releases, and that they will not be releasing Forge. I wanted to point out that everybody should remember that Joseph Staten didn't join the team until August 2020 to get the game back on track. That was their exact quote, if you remember. And I've given them criticism. I've said I appreciate the honesty, but for Staten, him coming out, it takes a lot of balls to come out and say, hey, we're not doing this thing, because he's the one that came on, what, August 2020, like 1 year before, or like right when they were supposed to launch in 2020. So he comes in, and now he's the one that has to go in front of a camera and say, hey, we're not going to launch with these key features. So, I mean, that's a tough thing to do, but I do want to point out that being honest about it is tough to do, and I do appreciate him doing it. So that said, it has me wondering, how bad of shape was this game in a year ago if Staten had to come in to get the game back on track, and everybody's been promising co-op up until that point? Literally as late as of June, I believe, June 2020. Was the quote from the previous video, where they said, oh yeah, co-op's going to be in, co-op's going to be in. Well, that person left the company shortly after, and then Staten comes in, and, you know, he has to make these changes about what's going on. So all that has happened, and we all know that's happened. And then today, the Reddit rumors are flying. People saying that, somebody claiming to be a person. I looked over it, but I'm not really going to talk about it. Basically reiterating just that the game was in bad shape, and then they got it back on track, right? So it's a rumor. I never take those seriously, because you never know if that's an actual employee. Like, why would an employee go make a burner account and write 2 pages about the development process? It's just too easy to fake something like that, right? Anyway, so Staten comes back in 2020, get the game back on track. Glad he came out and said something, because he's going to get the worst of it. And that takes, you know, takes a little bit of guts to be the person that has to do that. So let's read over that update that was posted in 2020. This is August 11, 2020. Today, I want to share an important Halo Infinite development update with the community. We have made the difficult decision to shift our release to 2021 to ensure the team has adequate time to deliver a Halo game experience that meets our vision. And you know, that, like, it's hard for me to put my finger on why it bugs me so much that they said twice in 2019, they said it would have co-op. And then in 2020, they reiterated that it would have co-op. And I believe there was a quote from when it was still called Halo 6 with Bonnie Ross talking about co-op. But don't quote me on that last one. But there's definitely 2 minimum. So let's talk. This is a really tough spot to be in, because what are their options? They're either being told they can't delay it anymore, or they've internally said, look, we're not going to delay it again. We're going to release it. The fact that those seem to be the only 2 options are worrisome. I did find a quote from Phil Spencer where he said they could have split it up into parts and released it that way. That was August 13th, 2020. But they didn't want to do that because they didn't feel it was the experience that they would have wanted to give their community, right? The problem is, how many people out there play these games co-op? And it's co-op, period. It's not just couch co-op. It is co-op for the campaign. So you're not going to be playing that at launch. They continued in their statement about the delay. The decision to shift our release is a result of multiple factors that have contributed to development challenges, including the ongoing COVID-related impacts affecting us all this year. I want to acknowledge the hard work from our team at 343 Industries, who have remained committed to making a great game and finding solutions to development challenges. However, it is not sustainable for the well-being of our team and overall success of the game to ship this holiday. So they delayed it a year. And within that year period of time, after recently promising that co-op was good to go, it fell on the priority list of stuff that they had to work on so low that now they're saying they can't get to it until 3 months after launch. And I think that is why people are worried, myself included. I was feeling very confident about Halo Infinite. This makes my confidence falter, absolutely, right? Still excited for it, still hopeful, but to know that in August 2020, 2 months prior, they're saying, yeah, co-op's great. They delay it a year. So we're literally 1 year out from their statement, right? 1 year and a few days. And now Staten had to come out and say, yo, co-op is bad. Like, we got to delay it 3 months. It doesn't work. It doesn't work the way we want. That's not verbatim, but like you read between the lines, it's not in a state that's shippable. So they have to push it 3 months. In their statement from last year, they said they finalized, we know this will be disappointing to many of you, and we all share in that sentiment. The passion and support the community has shown over the years has been incredible and inspiring. We wanted nothing more than to play our game with the community this holiday. We wanted nothing more than to play our game with the community this holiday. Well, multiplayer seems to be fine, but not co-op. The extra time will let us finish the critical work necessary to deliver the most ambitious Halo game ever at the quality we know our fans expect. So was it like all hands on graphics? Was it was the networking for multiplayer also like in a horrendous situation? Because, multiplayer co-op for a campaign, like, is it just one player can run too far and go do something crazy in the campaign? Like, I wish they would have given us more insight into why campaign co-op needs to be delayed, right? Beyond, it's not in a state that we want it to be. Why? What happened? You're telling me the Craig meme and all the graphic stuff that had to be fixed took such a priority that, I don't know, networking just fell too low, or maybe multiplayer networking took priority? It's just like, what shifted? How? Like, Staten, even when he gave the statement, he's talking about how important that was to the Halo franchise. And in the quotes, they talk about how important co-op is to the Halo franchise. And for that to be the thing that fell on the priority list, like, again, I go back to, I'm like, oh God, what kind of state was the game in a year ago? I'm a huge Halo fan. I don't talk about this a lot, but Halo 3 and the Forge mode, ironically enough, was one of the things I made a video called We Love Halo 3 about. And I submitted it to a game trailers contest. It won, and I got like a gift card. With that gift card, I bought a camera so that I could shoot videos. And it literally started my career in the gaming industry. I have a lot to owe to Halo and Bungie for just how things ended up playing out in my life. Like, that was a key moment for me. And it was because of Halo 3, partially because of Forge, partially because of how long I spent in that universe, and, just my general interest in creating videos. So to know that the Forge mode isn't going to be in there, and also wasn't prioritized in a way that it ended up in a shippable state at launch. And the same thing for co-op. Like for co-op, they must just look at player numbers, and maybe player numbers are too low, but it's sort of like the message. And that's why people are concerned. What else did I write here in my notes? Yeah, they're in a tough spot because they're either likely being told not to delay or making their own choice not to delay it further. And I think both of those, because that's their options, I think both of those options are kind of bad options. You're either being told you have to release it this holiday, or you're not allowed as a development studio to delay it 3 months so that you can at least launch with co-op, or 6 months. Got to hit. I mean, there's business expectations. You're going to have to hit Q4 or whatever, but geez. COVID should factor in a little bit. It doesn't explain the whole, we're saying in 2020 we can launch with co-op, and then 2021 it's just not in a state that works. And the final note that I had here is like, how bad of a state was this game in a year ago? We've seen dramatic improvement. So giving them props, like dramatic improvements in the graphics from the short campaign that we did see. I'm really interested in the emotional moments, but this has me worried. So they bring in Staten, and I'm just like, oh, you know, maybe they're bringing in Staten like they brought in Casey Hudson to save Anthem, right? And it's a PR play. But no, it sounds like Staten and the entire team at 343 have looked at everything and affected positive change in the right way. But why were we being sold on something that's straight up? It clearly wasn't ready in 2020, right? What are we going to get at launch? What is this launch going to be? I hope it's an amazing Halo campaign. I hope multiplayer goes off without a hitch. Like, that's why they're doing these tech tests, but this is concerning. And if you're not concerned that two pretty key features, one of which they talked about repeatedly in the years leading up to it, not being ready, I think you should be a little worried. Now, I know a lot of you said like, oh, well, you know, I wasn't going to play co-op anyway. I'm going to play through solo. I probably would have played through solo myself first, but it's all the players out there. Halo's been around for years, for so long, and people like playing through co-op, right? It is something that should be considered and noted, and potentially concerning to anybody who is excited about or cares about the Halo franchise, right? Because it kind of sends up a bit of a red flag about what we have been told up until last year in August, when they started taking a long, hard look at where the game was at and saying, look, we should not launch this year. This is not going to be good. Look at all these Craig memes everywhere. Anyway, I'm still excited about Halo Infinite. I still want to play the campaign. I am a little worried that launch is going to be really bad now. And up until this statement, I had no concerns whatsoever about Halo Infinite. I'm like, it's 343. They've got it. They got Staten over there. They got all this good stuff. And then Staten comes out, oh yeah, we got to take out this key thing that I love about Halo. He even talks about playing it with his son and how much he loves it. And, you know, that's why it's sort of a contentious thing. And look, if you're a fan of Halo, you should be a little worried. I'm a huge Halo fan, and I'm a little bit worried. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. Like, probably the last video I'm going to make about it. I already made one, so this is already number 2 on a thing, but we're hopefully close to launch. It's August, September, October, November, December. We got 4 more months in the year. Who knows when it's going to launch? Hopefully we get a date soon. I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell to know when I post the video. I appreciate everybody for subscribing. Trying to get to 100,000 subscribers this year. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed. If you want to become a member, memberships are turned on. Thank you to so much to everybody who has become a member thus far. And I have some merch if you want a coffee cup or something. Check it out. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I'll see you for the next one, everybody. Bye for now.